you've chosen a very risky podcast drink this morning.
Yes, that's true.
This morning.
It's the morning. We're recording.
We have never podcasted before 12 noon, ever.
Nope. And I've got it's Happy October 1st. I've got my pumpkin spice coffee. Normally I'm an iced coffee, cold brew gal, but for just making at home, because I don't have a Starbucks close to me, I do actually like the warm pumpkin spice coffee. But I've got Marvin here, our third co-host. If he makes one false move, he could knock this cup out of my hand. Hot coffee, pour it all over me and the mic. So you're right, it's a risk.
Especially since you're sitting on a couch.
Sometimes I like sitting on the couch. Sometimes you have to take risks.
I suppose. Hey, everyone. Welcome to We Watch TV, the podcast about the TV that we watch. I am Daniel. She is Hope. This is episode 37. I remembered the episode number this week.
Only because I told you.
And we watched a movie.
We did. We finally watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. It came out, I feel like it was not in the theater very long, even though it should have been because it was good.
August. It came out in August.
August, yeah.
It was like a couple weeks after Barbenheimer.
Yes. But it didn't, maybe it's just our theater. It didn't stay in our theater very long because the day we decided we wanted to go see it was the day it was gone. But it's now on Paramount Plus if you have that, which you should, because that's where you can watch all your Star Trek content. So I got the reference in for you.
It's true. It's true.
This is what happens when I'm awake in the morning. I can get the reference in first.
Mutant Mayhem has a Star Trek reference. We didn't
does.
even need it.
It does. I was going to bring that up later. But you can stream it on there. Really cute. We've seen all of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, the OGs that we grew up with in the 90s.
Those trash Michael Bay ones.
There was one before the Michael Bay one that we saw in college.
Yeah, the cartoon.
It was a cartoon one. I remember us liking that, but we didn't love it. And then while he did refer to them as the trash Michael Bay ones, we both agreed when we finished this movie that even the Michael Bay ones have this charm. Anytime I go back and watch the Turtles movies, even though the OGs are my favorite forever, especially, go Ninja, go. It's always like meeting up with old friends again.
Oh, yes, for sure. That was the comment I made to you, when the movie was over. They have established these personalities for the Turtles, and they've maintained them over the years, and so it just feels like you're visiting good old friends every time they come on, and it's really comforting.
Yeah.
And the movie was very good.
Yeah, it was really good. And even the Michael Bay ones where they were huge looking, they still, and I think they really leaned into that one, Roth's grumpy side, but characters still had what makes them those characters. But this one, I felt really got the characters right. And
for sure.
It was a fun movie. We had pizza for dinner.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have pizza when you're watching the Turtles.
Absolutely.
It's required. It's required dining.
It's also the same thing when you and I are going on our runs together and we run over the sewer cover things, what are they called? Manholes. Okay. And
Does a manhole make you laugh?
Stop it. Oh man, it is early.
I can see your coffee shaking around in your cup over there.
And I'm always like, do you ever think about the Turtles being down there? And you're like, yeah. And Jackie Chan was the voice of Splinter.
Yeah, that was awesome.
We had one of the voice of Raph was, if anybody else watched the Mighty Ducks Game Changers, all two of you, along with myself on Disney Plus. I really liked that show. I wish it would have gotten another season. I thought it was really cute. But one of the main kids, he was and I was like, I know this voice. Of course, I have to IMDb everybody when I watch a movie, and he plays the voice of Raph.
I'd heard
Leo's from Sophia the First.
Another podcast I listened to had this conversation when the movie first came out, and I kind of thought about it, but then filed it away, and because I hadn't seen the movie yet, and so I didn't really know exactly what they were getting to. But the question was, is Splinter the Turtles' dad? Because this is the first time they've straight up just said dad instead of Splinter. I'm not even sure they said his name in the movie.
Yeah, I don't know if I remember. They didn't call him dad in the 90s ones, right?
No.
I revere those movies, but then I forget major details like this. But they're revered and they're great, and I will not take no for an answer when it comes to those.
The first live action Ninja Turtles movies.
Yes.
Is the greatest adaptation of a comic book to film ever.
All of them or just the first one?
The first one.
Yes, but doesn't the
I'm
second
including
one
the Marvel
give us,
films here.
Doesn't the second one give us go ninja, go ninja, go?
You rewatch
Makes
the
it
second one,
iconic.
and you'll.
No, I will not take no for an answer. Iconic song. Yeah, I'm not. I think they've always seen Splinter as a father figure, but I really liked it that they called him Dad.
Yeah, and he was more fatherly in that sense.
They're going to
in the
milk
movie.
you. They have you hooked up to a milk machine. Watch it, and you'll get the joke. But they were all so cute. The turtle. I really liked the animation.
Yeah, I did too.
Because
I was
let's
worried
call
about it at first for the trailers, but I
Yeah.
did like it.
We already kind of said the Michael Bay ones, which I know, like they just looked like giant and weird.
Yeah.
I don't really remember what they look like in that cartoon one that we saw in college. But I don't think I loved it.
Yeah, it was kind of that weird 2007 era
Yeah.
CGI, but not like
Yeah.
Pixar CGI. So kind of.
I liked this
It
take
wasn't
on
great.
April O'Neil. I thought the girl from I need that actress's name. She's from The Bear.
The Bear, yeah.
She
Sydney
plays
from The Bear.
Sydney from The Bear, and I thought she did a great job and made April funny.
Mhm.
It was good. I really liked that they gave Donatello glasses. I remember I was a little worried about that. I was like, are they just giving him glasses? But you said he's had glasses in some adaptations.
A couple, yeah. The last few cartoons, I think he's had glasses for sure, and I think he had glasses in the Michael Bay ones as well. He didn't
Maybe.
wear them the whole time,
Yeah,
but he
no, I
had
must
them.
have
So
like fugue stated that from my mind. But it was so cute. And okay, so let's get into this. We actually got, which I went ahead because apparently Daniel's infiltrated my brain. I think we're switching personalities this morning, that I'm awake and you're not.
No.
So I went ahead and started us off with a Star Trek reference. Can you believe that? But we actually got a Star Trek reference
Right.
in this movie.
well, the kind of the story of the movie is the turtles are they're I think they're like 15 at this point.
Yeah, they're very much like Ariel from The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Like they want to be where the people are.
They're tired of being down in the sewers.
Yeah.
They want to see what like the rest of the world is like.
Yes.
But Splinter is very much like trying to keep them close.
Because he had a bad experience
Mm-hmm.
when with humans, especially when he like became his mutant self because
Yeah.
of the ooze. Ooze is better than goo.
It is better than goo. Ooze is much better than goo. And so
You'll get that
at one
reference.
point he like gets a bunch of pizzas and throws them a little party, and he says, "Look, I even brought the people." And he opens it up, and there's like 3 cardboard cutouts.
The 3
And they're
Chris's.
the 3 Chris's: Chris Pine, Chris Pratt, and Chris Evans. Except Chris Pine and Chris Evans are in just like tuxedos.
No, you get it mixed up. Chris Pratt and Chris Evans are just in
Okay.
tuxedos.
And then Chris Pine is in his
Yes.
Captain Kirk uniform from the Star Trek 2009
of the Kelvin universe.
of the Kelvin timeline. Yes.
It's hard
Thank
to
you
get
for
this-
clarifying that.
all the Chris's. Which Chris is your favorite?
I don't know.
Chris Evans. You got to go with Chris
Probably
Evans.
Chris
Captain
Evans,
America.
yeah.
Come on.
Probably.
But yeah, that was funny. I really liked that scene though, and he's like, "And we can pretend we're out to eat, but you can order anything you want, but it has to be pizza."
Yeah.
Because that's all he had. And the Cool Ranch Doritos.
Yeah.
We had that because
Yeah.
they were going out when they first were going out. They were like straight up, basically like robbing a gas station to get.
Yeah,
like,
really,
food.
they were.
And we find out how he trained them to be ninjas. That was part of it because this
Yeah.
was basically like a reset. Another backstory was that they watched like all those old like ninja movies,
Well,
and they had clips of Jackie.
Yeah,
Chan's
yeah, that was
movies,
funny
right?
because they had
It was
clips
funny.
of old Jackie Chan movies in there, and then it was really great when Splinter ended up coming to save them from the milking machine. Watch the
Like,
movie,
went
you'll
to
get
milk
it.
you.
He totally fought like Jackie. Like he
Yeah.
used moves from his previous old movies, but
And I have to
animated
say,
into Splinter, and it was really good.
I was like, that was the one like little thing that I was like a little like. Not worried about because it's a kids movie, but I'm like, oh, they're making like him just like a cute little grandpa, like dad, like
Right.
figure. I'm like, is he gonna be able to be like the bad A side of
Yeah,
Splinter?
Splinter's always been
Like,
awesome. Like he's been really good. Like he's taught the turtles
So
everything, so
good.
he knows how to do it. Yeah, it was great. But then the best part of the movie for me was like it really had like a heart and a message to it because
It did.
Splinter was so protective of his kids and didn't want anything to happen to them, and that ended up being mirrored in the villain.
Yes.
Um,
Who was also affected by the ooze, played
Yeah.
by Ice Cube,
Ice Cube, yeah,
Superfly.
yeah. And he had a bunch of mutants around him that he basically had raised, and it was the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he went the opposite direction. Like he was wanting to find a way to.
He was basically like Magneto.
Yeah.
It was like the X-Men kind of situation. Like he's like, what have the humans ever done for me? Like I want to get rid of all the humans.
And at the
Boo,
end,
humans.
he's making that speech, and Splinter starts listening. Is like, oh my gosh, this is how I'm coming off to my kids.
Yes.
And
I really liked the father figure straight up, them calling him dad.
Yeah, and so he ends up helping and saving the day. And I just thought it was a really great Turtles movie. I'm very excited for them. I think they're doing a show with these characters.
I want to see more.
And another movie, and I'm really excited. I think it looks great.
They sizzled us at the end.
Yeah, with the shredder.
With the shredder. And you guys, I keep saying, I think I've done it like 3 times. I can tell the people, which I think Seth Rogen
was a big point, yes.
He played...
he was Rocksteady? No, he was Bebop. Rocksteady was John Cena. Yeah.
But I can tell they wrote it for those of us that were fans as kids, because there's one little section where the Turtles are like, basically what they're doing is they're trying to make themselves look good so they can be accepted by society. That's sort of what their plan was at first, and they're fighting crime, and you hear just the snippet of Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go, and when I say my jaw dropped, and I was so happy, and I knew we were going to be in for a treat.
You knew somebody that loved the Turtles movies, and the Ninja Turtles was making this movie.
So I absolutely recommend it. Great little movie, short, cute. It really made our Friday night.
I'm very sure if you're a millennial who liked the Turtles, you'll love it. If you're a millennial who liked the Turtles and you've got kids, your kids are going to love it. Everybody in the house is going to love it. It was a great movie. If you haven't seen it.
Doesn't like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I don't trust people who don't like the Ninja Turtles.
Heroes in a half shell. Turtle power. All right. So what else have we been watching?
Well, I guess we watched Dancing with the Stars this week.
You guys, he acts like this, but he does like Dancing with the Stars. It's one of the shows that he enjoys. We've been watching. We took some season hiatuses, but we've been watching this like clear back when we had an antenna at our old apartment because we didn't have cable. I remember we watched the Christy Yamaguchi season when she won. I think Jason Taylor was the second place person that year.
Gosh, that's been forever ago.
It's been so long ago. That would have been like 2008.
I do have to say, every season of Dancing with the Stars that I watch, I feel like I reset. And I'm like that cooking, when you're watching a cooking competition meme. Starting out, I'm just like, everybody did well. I don't know why they did that. And then by the end, I'm like, his foot was in the wrong place and they needed to dock points for that. There was a lift there.
Oh, she doesn't have musicality.
Yeah. Because I'm sorry, the first girl, I still can't pronounce her name.
I think it's Sochi.
She was in the Marvel, the Doctor Strange
movie.
She's 17. They screwed her.
Yeah.
She was the first out of the gate.
She got all 5s.
She got all 6s.
All 6s, okay.
And she deserved way better than that.
Oh, absolutely. The judges, I think it's Sochi Gomez, and she is partnered with Val. I'm not going to even try to say his last name, but he's been on the show forever. When you take that first slot, especially on premiere night, I think you're always going to be a little screwed. Especially, and the judges came out hard. Like, they were hard on, I felt like, everybody.
But then they ended up giving some 7s out by the end of the night, and even an 8.
But those were deserved. Not saying that Sochi didn't deserve them. I feel like I definitely feel like they got screwed going first. Hopefully she goes middle later, because I think they wanted to kind of set that bar. And if you notice, too, in the past, like even Charlie last season, who we knew was going to win the moment she stepped on stage, she wasn't the first one. I don't think Charlie got the first perfect score. Like, they made her like work a little harder for it.
Sure, I understand, but
she was great. I'm excited to see more from her. I want Val to challenge himself with that choreography, just like he did with Zendaya when he had a teenager, because Val's one that a lot of times relies on that kind of sexy choreography, and he's not going to be able to do that as much with a teenager. Other notable people from that premiere night. Okay, Jason Mraz. He's the singer. He sings The Remedy. So many songs. I can't even think of like his most famous song off the top of my head, and I don't want to sing it.
Well, you're looking at me for help here. You're not going to find it.
You know who he, like, as soon as we played his music, you're like, oh yeah. Was not expecting him to be good.
He was all right.
He was good. He had the best score until Charity danced.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that with him, like, I wasn't expecting him to move that way, but he has Daniela for his pro, and I feel like she has shown with Nelly, with Iman, who I don't think Iman would have won had it not been for Daniela's choreography.
For sure. She knew how to.
She knows how
to put his choreography together to fit that person.
Absolutely. And I had been worried because she's kind of had, like, even Nelly was more muscular. Iman, Arnold Schwarzenegger's son. I can't remember his name. She's had all those muscular guys, and so she has done a lot of like lifts and tricks and stuff. And when I saw that she was cast for Jason, I'm like, ooh, that's going to be a challenge for her. But right off the gate, she did pretty good. Let's see here. Barry Williams, is that his last name? I just call him Greg Brady.
Yeah.
He's pretty good for an old dude.
Yeah, they're going to keep him. He's going to stick around for a while.
He'll get that boomer vote.
He'll get that fan vote. And
they gave us that Brady Bunch song like right off the bat, too.
Just good enough that he'll be able to escape being in the bottom, especially with the votes that are coming in. But he's not going to win.
I don't think he's going to win, no. I mean, Donny Osmond won, but Donny Osmond was not as old.
Donny Osmond was 51 when he won.
Yeah.
This guy's in his 70s.
Yeah. He did a good job, though. PETA choreographed well for him. Let's see. Charity from The Bachelorette. I knew she would do good. I think she ended up having the best score of the night. Obviously, the Bachelorettes always do a good job.
Are they teaching dancing class off screen at the Bachelorette while we're not watching? Is that what's happening here? Because every one of them is good.
Typically, the Bachelorette is a younger woman in pretty good shape, and then a lot of them, like Gabby, was a cheerleader for the Denver Broncos, and Gabby would have won any other season.
Sure.
But she was with Charlie, who we all knew was going to win from the get-go. Charity cheered for Auburn, so they show that they can have choreography. Let's see here. I really like the new pro, Riley Arnold. That's Lindsay's younger sister. I have no idea who her partner is. His name's like Harry Jousey, I think. He's from I think it's Love Island. I think that he's not a great dancer, but she gave him fun choreography, and she seemed really excited to be there. Did you think some of the pros seemed, I don't know if it's because like we said, we didn't know that the show was even going to be happening until like the morning of, because there was all that drama with the strike, the pickets, and then some of that was resolved.
We certainly didn't know it was going to be 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. But do you think some of the pros seem like off? Like even Emma, who's normally excited. I thought the whole production
seemed a little like wobbly.
Yeah, and I think
that was because they were really under such a
we have no
situation.
idea what went on behind the scenes with some duress. But so Riley definitely, she seemed excited to be there. It seemed like some of like the energy and like all the contestants seemed like way more nervous than usual. They all seemed so nervous. I noticed that. But yes, it was 2.5 hours long. I don't remember being told that it was going to be 2.5 hours long. I miss it being just on Disney Plus when we had no commercial breaks.
Oh, sure, yeah.
There was a commercial between every single dance, and we watched it on Disney Plus, and we still had the commercials. Someone was like, on Twitter, was like, or Reddit, was like, well, what would you guys rather have if you're watching on Disney Plus? Just a blank screen that says programming will return momentarily? Yes. We had to keep muting the commercials because they were so loud. I am very upset about the elimination.
Oh, yeah.
Matt Walsh, who ended up being able to come back and compete.
I don't know why they did an elimination on this night.
Yeah, they've done it the past couple seasons. I think night one eliminations are crap because the premiere night should be fun. You're getting these people out of, even those people with dance experience, the way this is, you're still out of your comfort zone, and it just kind of takes away from that joy. And then with everything, I know, I don't want to say set up, but they had him go last. I felt like I honestly think he danced better than what the judges scored him at. They gave him like 4s.
Yeah, it was not good.
And like Coco actually did try
Matt
to
Walsh,
give him
by
steps.
the way, is who we're talking about.
Yes, Matt Walsh. I think he's known for Veep now, but he's been on The Hangover. You'll probably see him in movies and are like, oh, that guy. Yeah. I know that guy. And I really kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. And that's another thing that they didn't tell us about. No judges saved this year. So that means that you could be somebody like that you're not going to be the best dancer, and if you get those votes, we could have another Bobby Bones season on our hands. I don't think you watched that season, but Bobby Bones won, and he was not the best dancer. And he wasn't one of the people like Iman that captured like your hearts.
Right.
He just, it really
I've
rubbed
never
a lot
heard
of
of
people the wrong way.
Plus, he got saved for that real estate guy, and by that real estate guy was the bottom two this season. And I don't like that guy. Anybody that gets referred to as a mogul, I'm not into that person. I don't know why.
I think he's actually from a reality show.
Well, they called him a real estate mogul.
But that's what they're referring to.
I don't like this guy already.
Maybe one of the Real Housewives shows.
But you're not helping his case here.
And he didn't get, say they were the bottom two, but you don't necessarily know that guy was in the bottom two. I don't think the judges would have saved Matt anyway, unless he was maybe up against Tyson Beckford, the model, who was not very good.
He was not good
at all. My favorite thing about this season so far, though, I have no idea who's going to win.
No,
None.
for sure. There's no standout after week 1 at all.
Like, I think Mira Sorvino did a good job, but she has Gleb, who's sometimes his choreography is not the greatest.
Yeah.
Gleb did a good job last season with Shangela, but we'll see. I like last year we knew Charlie was going to win the moment she stepped on stage.
Yeah, it was pretty clear.
So it's nice to know. I really like. Who's your favorite? My favorite is I'm gonna go with Sochi.
Yeah, I'm just rooting for Sochi because he's the only one I'm really super familiar with from the one movie I've seen her in.
All right. So we have also been watching Only Murders in the Building and Ahsoka. So we're going to talk about those 2 shows because both of these shows are actually ending tonight. We are recording this podcast on a Sunday morning, but when you guys hear it, it's going to be Tuesday. So both of these shows are going to be having their finales. So kick us off. Which one do you want to go first with?
Well, your list says Only Murders in the Building.
Well, I mean, the way you deviate from the show notes, you never know with you. So I was just giving you a chance to shake it up.
I'm frustrated with Only Murders in the Building.
Why?
Because it's back to form.
So back to form.
And I'm frustrated because why did they give us like 6 episodes of what they gave us and then going to give us, hopefully the finale is just, it lives up. The last 3 episodes are actually really good.
The last 3 episodes have been great. It's back to form. I think the show's so self-aware they even know what they're doing. They're like, oh, we're all back together. This episode gave me like season 1, season 2 vibes. It was so good. We even got a Father of the Bride reference.
Yes.
As we know, Martin Short and Steve Martin are both in Father of the Bride, and they have a scene with Mabel, Selena's character, wearing the wedding dress. It was, so basically, do we still think there's 2 murderers?
I do. I'm sticking with that.
I'm sticking with it too. So
that's going to be the twist.
Yeah.
Is when they think they found the first murder because they think they have, and by the episode we just watched, they think that the murderer is the producer lady.
Yeah,
I can't remember
her
her name.
son is producing it. She's the mother of it, and she told Meryl's character in the previous episode, we'll do anything to protect our kids.
Right.
And that's when Meryl confessed that she's like, oh, I'm the murderer. And then they kind of were focused on her at the beginning, and we're like, ooh, it could be her.
And so it's going to come out in the finale at one point that she did it with the rat poison. And then they're going to say, and twist him down the elevator, but we're eventually going to find out that she didn't do the pushing down the elevator.
Yes.
I think that's how it's going to go down.
I think it will be very similar to that. I still think we're going to see Tina Fey's character one more time, and I don't know I don't think Tina Fey's character is the murderer, but
no, she's not involved.
I think probably because I haven't heard if they're doing another season of You.
No.
That maybe Mabel will go actually join her podcast.
Work
I don't
with her,
know.
and that'll be kind of the wrap up to her character
Yeah.
arc. Yeah.
But the gang's back together again. Our description for the episode, which airs this evening, is Charles, Mabel, and Oliver race to entrap the killer on opening night. As the musical thrills its Broadway audience, the trio brave further twists and turns from behind, above, and all around the stage. What about Taubert? Here you go, Hannah. Taubert. But what do we call him?
Toblerone.
What do we really call him on this?
Jackson
podcast?
Avery from Grey's Anatomy.
Jackson Avery from Grey's Anatomy. I still don't trust him.
I don't trust him at all. No.
I was talking to this with even my hairstylist. She watches Only Murders, and we had like a 15-minute conversation about it. And she's like, I don't trust him either. So I don't know.
He could be the elevator pusher.
He could be. And maybe
think
it
he
was an
could.
accident. And maybe if he's not the murderer, I don't trust his intentions.
No, me neither.
He seems really off. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a very untrusting person. But yep, getting its groove back. I'm excited to see how the season finishes out. But I'm like you. We could have had so much more. It's to the point where I am eagerly anticipating watching the show now.
I like when, this is 10 episode season, and I like having content. But let's be honest. I think they could have done this in 6 and had 6 really good episodes, as opposed to how they've done it in 10, and the first half of the season was just kind of mid.
I think for the purpose of the story, though, they felt like they had to kind of break the game up for the plot that they were going for.
Well, they should have done it better then, because it wasn't very well executed.
It was fun.
The reason we come to the show is for the gang.
And I love them. They have the best chemistry.
Yep.
And let's get into the other show that ends tonight. And I am so depressed that it's ending tonight. Ahsoka.
Yeah, I'm very depressed that this is coming to an end.
Other than episode 3, which we felt was just the traveling, every episode has hit.
Yes.
And guess who was back?
Ezra Bridger.
Well, no.
Yeah. How silly of me. Anakin Skywalker
really
shows up
tired.
once more.
She's watching an old recording that he made for her as she's training, and it just we watched the Dancing with the Stars premiere, and we wanted to go to bed, but we knew because Star Wars fans have no chill that we had to watch Ahsoka. So we're like, okay, let's watch it. So I'm tired, but I'm excited, and suddenly there he is. There's my man's Anakin on screen again in the Clone Wars outfit. Dave Filoni. He just gives me my appetizer, my main course, my dessert, my second breakfast. The man delivers. Give the man everything. Give him all of Star Wars right now, Disney. Do it. Just let him do it. And give me a live action Clone Wars. I think Hayden would be up for it.
I don't know how this is going. I think we're about to get empired.
You really think so?
Yeah.
Thrawn, what a villain.
I mean, they haven't confirmed a second season yet. I just don't know, unless this last episode is 2 hours
We've got
long.
a lot going on.
How are we wrapping this up?
We've got what Thrawn's doing. Let's see here. Balin has a whole other thing, and he just kind of left Shin.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, go do whatever. And then Ahsoka like tried to get Shin to be like, hey, you can come join us. It's all right. And she just kind of ran off.
I think that will eventually pan out.
It reminded me of that like Parks and Rec meme where like Ben Wyatt's like, well, how about, and he just like sprints off. Yeah. That was what Shin reminded me of. I'm the little bit that I have seen of Rebels, and I know you confirm this, I felt like that conversation with Ezra and Sabine was hilarious.
Oh yeah, those actors are knocking it out of the park.
But she's like, in Ahsoka,
the writing...
Ahsoka took me on as her like Padawan. He's like,
why?
Why?
Yeah, it's the writing, which is being written by the same people, but all the acting. They clearly watched Rebels, and they're clearly working on mannerisms and voice inflections from the voice actors in those
Ezra's
shows.
Cute, by the way.
They're doing a really great job.
He's cute.
Is it Ezra?
What?
Is that Ezra?
Well, he's cute, though.
Is it Ezra?
Do you think he's cute? I don't know. I hope so. That felt very Ezra-y. Is there rumors that it's not Ezra and Ezra's dead?
No, I'm not saying Ezra's dead. I'm saying that Thrawn knew why they were there.
Why hasn't...
And he asked the Night Sisters for some help, and we already kind of know that they can like animate things because
why
we
would
saw
he
that.
have not killed Ezra already? Is Ezra that awesome that he's been able to evade him and hang out with the wrong
Yeah, exactly.
people?
And it seems like he's not really that far.
I don't know.
She just got to him riding that like
maybe his whole thing was
cat, dog, horse thing.
Maybe he kept Ezra alive because he was hoping that the rebels would come back to get him, and that would be his way out, and that they could kind of help set up that situation. However, his plan has been foiled by one Ahsoka.
I think
because when he was like, I need to learn all about Ahsoka. And when he found out who Ahsoka's master was,
he was mad.
The look on his face was like literally Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah. So again, I'm hedging here. It could very well be Ezra, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine, and that's how it's going to go. Or that Ezra is one of those smoke monsters that
If Ezra ends up being one of those wet farts that the witch ladies made,
no, the real Ezra will
upset.
still be there, but we won't see him till the very end.
I mean, I guess you can take
when
on their
when Balin finds whatever he's going to look for.
I guess you can take on like the mannerisms and stuff and characterization. But I thought that conversation with Sabine felt very Ezra.
It did, yes.
That would upset me.
I don't think they're going to go that way, but I'm a little. I guess I'm confused again, like you said.
There's a lot to wrap up in this last episode.
There's a lot to wrap up, and there's some confusion for me around why is Ezra just out there running around and they couldn't find him.
And we have to figure out what Balin's wanting to do. And then unfortunately, because the actor that played Balin is no longer with us, which that's such a loss because that great character. I don't know anything about the man as how he was as a person, but he's really put his all into that character. Yeah. So that's a loss. Like, so is Balin if they plan to have a season 2, is Balin going to be killed off? Like, what do you think they're going to do?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm not entirely convinced whatever he's looking for, he's going to survive that.
And he almost seems to know it, too.
Yeah. I'm kind of getting vibes like he's.
They have a lot to explain in this last episode, and we didn't really see Hera very much. I want all the Rebels people reunited, and I'm not even that invested in the show, and I'm not sure y'all are going to get it either.
No, that's what I'm saying. Are we going to get Empired here?
So is it going to be the season 2, or you said they are planning a movie?
We don't know. There's no season 2 confirmed. We know that they're doing a movie. Then Thrawn's going to be in the movie.
Thrawn is a great villain. I need more of Thrawn.
Yes, Thrawn's awesome.
So much better than Snoke, who we always know now was like a smoke screen. But... Yeah. You know what? The sequels, everybody, I feel like I'm drinking a cup that literally has Rey on it and BB-8 on it right now. So I do like the sequels, but I like the idea of it. What does he say?
Not the truth.
Not the weakness.
Not the truth. The weakness.
And I just want to clarify that. But literally Ahsoka, my favorite Star Wars. I think we've said it like 50 times. This is my favorite live action Star Wars since Revenge of the Sith. 100%.
I agree.
It's better than even the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian that I felt knocked it out of the park. I'm loving it. I'm very sad for it to end, but I think we will. I kind of tend to agree with you. I think we're going to get Empired a little bit.
And for anybody not understanding the reference, that means that the bad guys are going to win and we're not really going to get an ending. It's going to be like, oh, a lot of stuff is going to be left open to whatever they do next.
But I'm looking forward to. Do you think we see Anakin again?
I'd be surprised.
I mean, I was shocked we saw my face.
Now, if they get a season 2, I could see more popping up. But you got it. She said that she had 20 recordings like that one that we were seeing this episode. You got to wonder if Dave ended up just recording a few more just to have them in his pocket in case he needed them.
Again, give him Star Wars. Let him do everything because he is delivering.
Okay.
All right.
We also watched season 2, episode 1 of Special Forces.
Special Forces.
This was a reality show we watched last year.
Is this the first season 2 of a show that we've talked about on the podcast? Where we talked about one season and then our second season? I don't know.
Do you count The Bachelor and stuff? Because we've talked about a lot of The Bachelor stuff.
We've only talked about one season of The Bachelor, though.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, probably it is. So,
and Bachelor,
Forces,
Bachelorette, and Bachelor in Paradise are 3 different shows.
Oh,
I think it is, yeah.
Special Forces is a show. They take a bunch of celebrities and athletes and put them through 8 days of what they call selection.
It's 8 days?
It's 8 days.
Oh, I thought it was longer than that.
And they've got these Special Forces guys that put them through a bunch of, hell, honestly, is what it is.
This is your favorite brand of reality
TV. Yes, I love this. This is my kind of reality TV.
He'll tolerate some of the Bachelor shows, not his favorite. You do admit it. You end up enjoying Dancing with the Stars. Admit it.
Because it's a competition.
You say you like it.
And Bachelor is not a competition.
Say
I don't care what you say.
That you like Dancing with the Stars. Admit it for everybody.
It's fine.
No. He does, guys. He has to do this shtick all the time. But this is your favorite type of reality
Yes,
TV.
It is.
I feel like this year, so the last season of Special Forces, they were in a warm location.
Yeah, they were in Jordan, I think. Yeah,
now
it was very hot.
Someplace in New Zealand, and it looks very cold.
Very cold. It was raining half this episode.
And they had to climb out on one of those little platform things that were suspended in the air. I don't know
300 feet in the air, and they had to walk across the.
And it was pouring rain.
Yeah.
It did not look pleasant. This is how I feel about the cold versus hot thing. I would probably almost rather do some of the competitions, not in the rain, but just when it comes to cool or hot, give me the colder weather. That being said, that's only if I can go back to a nice cozy house, shower, get in my nice warm bed rot with my blankets for a little bit and watch a TV show.
You don't think those cots they give them look comfortable?
I don't think so. So I think for me, I would have rather done the hot season for season 1. Which climate would you pick?
I probably would pick the cold one. I'm more cold tolerant.
Yeah.
And they have a wood burner in that place. That would be enough for me.
So some of the notable people, we have Des Bryant on there. We've got JoJo Siwa, who did Dancing with the Stars. The last season of Special Forces, so many people had done Dancing with the Stars. We've also got Brian Austin Green, who also did the same season of Dancing with the Stars, I believe, as JoJo Siwa.
Yeah, I forgot about that, but then you pointed out that they were buddy
I was like, why are they acting like
other?
They're friends? I was like, oh, yeah. Nick Viall, a former Bachelor, also did Dancing with the Stars. So that's 3 Dancing with the Stars people on this season that I can count off the top of my head. We have Tara Reid. I feel so bad for Tara Reid. She's been through it, man. And people need to be nice to her and stop. I get it that she's got there. People need to stop making fun of her. She's no longer
listen,
18.
I also have sympathy for her,
But
and I also
she's a mess.
and I also want her to get what she wants to try and achieve. This was not the show
You
for
could
her.
tell
She
that
should not have, her agent should not have put her on this show.
Okay, so like the guys that are like kind of like not the hosts, but that do the activities and stuff, they're always hard and screaming at people, and then they'll bring them in. I could see even they were breaking and having some sympathy for Tara Reid about her confidence. She needs to learn to, let's see, Mel B, I believe, was the Spice Girl that was on season 1, and she easily snuck in her cigarettes. Tara Reid just did it in front of him, and then they were like, "You have some contraband," and she had like stuff like 4 packs in each pocket,
right?
And she's like, "Yeah, I needed my cigarettes."
I hope she sticks around.
Is it
I
Savannah
really do.
Chrisley? That's one of the. We've never watched her reality, but shows she's on there. Oh, speaking of Dancing with the Stars, so it's Ariana. I think that's her name. We don't watch the Vanderpump Rules, guys. Just want to throw it out there. But she's on Dancing with the Stars, and the guy that apparently cheated on her with her best friend that she was with for 9 years, he's on Special Forces. I thought he was going to he actually completed the task, though. He's like, I'm here to be punished. So there's our connection between those two shows. We've got Tyler Cameron of The Bachelor. Tyler and Hannah Brown, who won last season, dated. Do you remember when I was like obsessed with Tyler and Hannah? It's the only time I've ever been obsessed with a Bachelor couple. Like summer of 2019, those two were like rent free in my head.
I don't recall all the obsessions you go through because you go through
my
them.
Hyperfixations.
Your hyperfixations, you go through them so quickly.
If you know, guys. Hyperfixations. I'm trying to think who else is there. I feel like I'm missing somebody really notable. Who?
Black China.
Black China, but she's trying to be called by her real name now, Angela.
That's not going to stick.
I don't remember her last name. Let's see here. Ooh, Aaron Jackson and Bodie Miller, 2 Olympians. I've done their iFit workouts, you guys. I was like, oh, I've done their workouts. I can't really think of anybody else that's really
there
notable.
There was a few other people, but I can't. Like they're not sticking, and not everybody. Like a few people only got their name up on screen one time, and I was like barely caught it. So
yeah, they kind of did that with the first season where they focused on certain people. They definitely were focusing on JoJo Siwa a lot, and I would say probably it's because one, her personality. This is definitely not the type of show she would do.
Well, I think she's got potential.
That's
why when they brought her in, they were like, "Listen, you have potential to do this, but you don't seem like you're taking it seriously right now."
Yeah, and I think they probably did try to also focus on her a lot because when you think about from like obviously a lot of people from the 90s Brian Austin Green from 90210, but you think of current famous people like right now the level of fame that these celebrities have, I'd say JoJo Siwa's got to be the most famous
probably
of that group.
I don't know that she's famous, but
because I would say like Des Bryant, but then as we've learned not everybody knows who football players are because Taylor Swift did discover Travis Kelce. You do know that, right?
Oh my gosh! Are you watching? Are you going to watch Taylor's game later today?
I might actually do that. But I'm excited to see the next. I love Special Forces.
Yeah, I like this show. It's really good. If you're,
it's on Fox, but then they also put it on Hulu the next day. So if
you're a guy that doesn't normally get into the
or girl,
yeah, okay, this is a good one. It's fun because it's more. I don't know. They torture these people.
Yeah. And you see these celebrities, they don't have their makeup artist. Their hair's a mess.
I would argue the thing they did first, walking across the big chasm, I would rather do that 15 times than what they did to them at like 11 o'clock at night
when they had
at the end of the episode with the rocks.
Oh, Jack Osborne. That's another one that's on there.
Yeah. Like
I used to love the Osbornes.
They did. I think that, what did they say? That was like an hour and a half that they just had them out there in the rain, cold, doing stuff,
and they had
carrying
them
those
like
rocks
they
around.
barely got to sleep. They had them go like pick out a rock, and the whole time when I'm watching the people pick the big rocks, I'm like, you guys are dumb. So it looks like Jack Osborne and then skinny little Tara Reid picked the biggest rocks,
right?
And they had to carry them around, put them over their head. That looked just miserable.
Well, it's one of those things where sometimes you hear. I heard about this show last time when we started watching, and I was sus. I was wondering, how bad is it really going to be? Because what happens off camera that we don't get to see the comfort that they actually have. We watched the season, and it was really good, and then all the people came out and did interviews.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it was legit, like they were not in comfort at all for
Yeah.
8 days straight.
Like Hannah Brown, who basically won last season, former Bachelorette and former Dancing with the Stars winner. She gave like a bunch of interviews. She even hung out with some of the guys when she visited them in the UK, and they seem so sweet off camera. But she's like, yeah, the food sucked. She's like, but you were hungry. She's like, showers. She's like, you barely got to take a shower. She's like, it was rough. Like she pretty much, and she's like, don't think when you watch it that, oh, it looks easy. They shouldn't have. She's like, it's really hard. It's a mental test. And a lot of them were saying, like you said, gave interviews about just how difficult it was. For me, you know what the hardest part for me would be? Not the conditions, not the, like, I would not enjoy walking across the thing suspended in the air with rain. The hardest thing for me would be the yelling. I shut down when you yell at me. And these guys, they yell at these people. They don't care. They give them a number. You're like, your name is not Tara Reid. You're like number 3 or whatever. And it just, could you deal with the yell? You probably don't respond. Like, I shut down. When you yell at me, I'm done. Like, I don't respond well to yelling at all. So that would be what I would have to get, like, if I was a contestant in the show.
Yeah, it would be really hard.
Okay. And another reality TV show started. My favorite, the reason why, Daniel, I put in the effort to watch Bachelor and The Bachelorette is because of Bachelor in Paradise. Almost Paradise.
I'm not singing.
We're knocking on heaven's door. So Bachelor in Paradise kicked off on last Thursday. We've got former Bachelorette Rachel on the season. She was, say the phrase. What's the phrase? What is it? First sand. You learned that last year. I told you. You don't remember this? You thought it was really funny and ridiculous that the phrase first sand. Please tell me you remember this.
I know what you're talking about. I'm just not responding to it right now.
Okay. Do you still want Jesse Palmer's job?
It's easy. He has an easy job, and he gets paid money to do that job. And he has to hang out. Oh, no, he doesn't do anything on this show but show up once every couple of days and talk to him. But he's down there for the entire time.
Would you want Sarah Hyland's husband's job, Wells?
I didn't see him this episode.
He was in there.
Oh, was he in there? Okay.
I think you
had I ducked out at that point?
Checked out at that point when Wells showed up. Sarah Hyland from Modern Family, another great show. She's married to Wells Adams.
I will fully admit to our listeners that I will be in and out of this show. I'm not going to sit around and watch all 2 hours.
You had a lot to say,
week.
though. I don't remember what you're saying, but I had to keep telling you to. I was like, okay, I like it when you participate, but shh. I'm trying to listen. There's not a lot of notable stuff other than I'm excited for some more of Rachel's exes that were actually on her season to show up, because when Becca, the Bachelorette, was on, it was only like Grocery Store Joe was the only guy from her season, so it had been removed enough. And Becca and Thomas, who got together on Bachelor in Paradise, they just had a baby. So Bachelor in Paradise is the most successful. Why do you think it's the more successful show of the other two? It has the most success stories of any of the Bachelor
they're spending
shows.
more time together than on, basically on The Bachelor.
You only get a little bit.
They get like no time to actually talk to people and hang out.
Just bumming around on a beach.
Yeah, if you're there for the entire, how long is this show? I know it airs for like 8 weeks.
I think it's only a few weeks, but you
still
literally are spending all day long
hanging out on a beach, and all you have to do is talk.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of get through all that stuff from a relationship standpoint that you need to get through.
So I think I agree. But
that makes perfect
fun.
sense to me why this one would work out better than The Bachelor.
It doesn't take itself seriously.
No,
That's one of the things that I like a lot about it. And other Bachelor shows that I have not watched yet, but I promise I will, because I know it's on Hulu, is The Golden Bachelor. Now, The Golden Bachelor, killed it in the ratings. It had some good ratings. I've seen some clips of it. If ABC messes with this man, I'm going to be so mad.
I'm sorry. I just thought of a joke that I thought of a joke, but I can't say it on the podcast.
No, you
so
cannot.
I'm sorry. So I'm going to laugh to myself in the corner while she talks.
Follow us on Instagram for the after the show content. And then also, I have to mention this now because this is becoming an NSYNC podcast. We finally got the full single drop from NSYNC.
It's not becoming
Better
that.
Place.
It's not an NSYNC podcast.
Well, it's not a Star Trek podcast either. So NSYNC, their first new song in over 20 years. Somebody posted a thing on TikTok talking about everything that we had the last time NSYNC had a new song, and I'm like, yes, that's how different the world was, and we've got it. It sounds great as usual. JC is still the best singer from NSYNC. you know you're going to go see the new Trolls movie with me. Trolls 3, because they're going to sing more songs. I think we're going to get a remix or a redo.
Do I have to
of I
watch
Want You
Trolls
Back.
1 and 2?
No.
Okay.
I think you'll be able to pick up on the plot. Super excited. How many times have I already done I do this with songs anyway. I like a song and I will play it on repeat. Again, hyperfixations, y'all. I'll play it on repeat like 50 times. How many times did I play A Better Place on Friday? More.
Too many.
More. Too many. All right, so what else is going on, Daniel?
We are watching The OC.
We are back with the OC rewatch with Season 2. Season 2 did not have a summer set of episodes like Season 1, and Season 2 premiere is entitled The Distance, and this episode aired on November 4th, 2004. I'm not going to read this entire description on IMDb because for some reason they gave a really long one, but it says it's been 3 months since Ryan left to live with the pregnant Teresa and Chino, and Seth subsequently sailed off to Portland, which they never said he was sailing to Portland in the finale, right?
No, they never said where he was going.
So he sailed off to Portland to live with Luke and his divorced gay father. I don't know why we couldn't just put divorced father on here. And then it also says, I'm clicking read more. With 1 week before school starts, Kirsten is furious that Sandy has yet to bring Seth back to Newport. And I won't read the whole description because, look, Daniel, look how much I'm scrolling.
That's a
Somebody
synopsis.
basically did like a synopsis, not a description. So do you remember what you were doing on November 4th, 2004? I feel like we would have probably been at regionals for cross country that first weekend in November because our season always ended after the high school cross country season.
I was probably playing WoW.
You would have run cross country. You would have been at regionals, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I was thinking about WoW.
World of Warcraft.
World
That's
of
what
Warcraft
WoW stands for.
Yes. Fall of 2004. What a time to be alive.
That game, I've never seen. You don't act like that with any other game. Do you ever sometimes you just wish you could get like a hit?
Yeah. Don't you remember a couple of years ago they did like the classic version where they released essentially what was the version in 2004, and I thought I spent a week like stressing about like should I jump in?
He was mean when he would play that game, you guys.
Should I get to it? Oh man, I really wanted to. I just wanted to go back to my little spot in the Tauren starting zone and just sit on the hill and listen to the music.
It always made me mad when one of the people that you were playing that with, you were like the only one with a girlfriend, and you'd be like, I have to run this dungeon. I can't talk to you right now. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You can't and you would get mad at me because I'd be like, well, can't you pause the game?
Henry Cavill plays, I'm pretty sure he played WoW.
Can you pause WoW? You can't pause WoW. I learned that, and then one year I tried to play it like sarcastically, so Daniel wouldn't. We were on our way to the beach, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason, I don't know why, we weren't the ones driving, but the parentals wanted to stay overnight in a hotel in like Greensboro, like North Carolina. So I was like, fine, I'm going to play so you and Hannah don't play this game all night. And then like I ended up playing for like 7 hours. I'm like, what is going on?
Wait, because you've always maintained throughout our lives that you just played sarcastically so that I didn't have to play it. Are you admitting to me finally that you actually enjoyed your time with World of Warcraft?
I didn't enjoy the gameplay because there's still no purpose of this game. Like, how do I win World of Warcraft? I don't. I have to have a game where I can win. But I did like designing my character and like the outfits and like making up her name. I liked that. That was fun. We've completely deviated.
Yeah.
Majorly off topic.
We'll do a game.
Once again,
we'll do a video game podcast
World of Warcraft,
one of these days, everybody.
A thorn in my side. But so season 2, so we can see how far Seth and Luke's relationship has advanced. That Seth, goes to stay in Portland with Luke and his dad. We're just going to say his dad because it's 2023. We got Ryan.
Hey, I'm Nick. My friends call me Gay Nick.
New Girl. Nick, you're gay. Be gay. You guys should watch New Girl. Great show. So we have Ryan and Teresa basically playing house, but they're living in her mom's house.
But we didn't see her mom. It's another kind of like
we saw her mom in the next episode, don't we? I don't remember. Did we see her in the first one? We know her mom's there. We've already watched 2 episodes of season 2. We're just
her mom. Her mom is there eventually in this episode. So, but it's just I don't know.
And then Ryan, I'm pretty sure later when he talks to Marissa in the second episode of the season, I'm just going to go ahead and jump ahead, like insists that they weren't like doing anything. But I'm like, but you guys were sleeping in a bed together, kissing each other goodbye before work like you're 45 years old. She's packing his lunch and peeling his orange. I'm like, what are you doing? So that was strange. We've got Kirsten deciding once again to go through the stages of grief by being mad at Sandy.
By having the house remodeled.
By having the house remodeled because she basically lost not one, but 2 sons.
Yeah.
Summer is exactly how I would react in this situation. Mad, furious, irritated. She mentions that she is dating someone in the finale, but she's like, I'm never going to, let fall for anyone ever again. Love is dead because of what Cohen ruined that for me. And then Marissa, Hot Mess Express. Do we think that they just made Misha Barton walk around with that bottle of Absolute?
It's that one little bottle of Absolute. She had it in the first season, and she has it
in
here
the Christmas
too.
episode.
And they just keep filling it up with water so she can take shots out of it while
Yeah.
they're filming. It's always the same bottle. So yeah, I thought that was funny.
She's basically living a miserable existence with the gruesome twosome, giving her mom a real hard time. Day drinking. I'm assuming she's probably not going to therapy anymore. She's and Julie are really, going at it, screaming, fighting.
Pushing lawn furniture into the pool.
And everybody would always, what is your opinion of that scene? A lot of people give Misha Barton a hard time for that and say it was really bad acting and over the top. But I'm like, that's kind of how it would look if a teenager had a tantrum like that. It wouldn't be good acting. It would be screaming manically, tossing furniture. And I feel like Misha herself said she didn't want to do that scene at some point, maybe. I can't remember. But what do you think? She gets a lot of crap for that.
I think outbursts like that would be really difficult to act.
It's a film, yeah.
Think about
And we need to keep in mind how young Misha was. She was I think 17 when the first season started. So she's the youngest one on the cast too.
Yeah, well, think about the crying scene from And Just Like That season 2 this year. Those
Why'd
are
you go to bring that up?
Those are just really difficult.
To do.
They're difficult. They're hard because you go too hard, they come off
cringy. And that's what a lot of people say that scene is, that Misha didn't do a good job.
But I do think if you take it at what it's supposed to be written in the script of a 17-year-old having a meltdown, right? I mean, it's authentic to the kind of reaction you would get in that scenario. So I'm not, I don't want to criticize actors for doing their job, and particularly when they're doing their job and doing stuff that they aren't necessarily, like you said, she said she wasn't really comfortable doing it, but she's got to do it because it's her job. I'm not really going to criticize on that.
I'm just going to say that Jimmy looks good with the beard and the disabled hair. Sailing and drinking on a yacht does Jimmy well, though.
He's not sailing. He's just living on that boat.
Living on
he
a
doesn't know
yacht.
how to sail. Are
He's
you kidding me?
sailing around, partying with Haley, who we don't see in the first episode. We don't see her till later. Sandy finally decides to make a last-ditch effort to try to get Seth back by the one person Seth might listen to, Ryan. So he goes out to Chino, to the construction site where Ryan's working, and basically begs him to go talk to Seth. First, Ryan says no, he doesn't think it'd be a good idea. Teresa witnesses this, that she gets it in her head oh, Ryan wants to leave, probably because he wants to leave.
Yeah.
And so at this point, we're not sure he's leaving yet. Teresa, because he's still going to be committed, but he decides he's going to go try to, because he and Seth didn't leave. I feel like we didn't talk about this as much. We talked about Seth's reaction to it, but when we chatted about the finale in our previous episode of season 1, we didn't really talk about the icy reception that Seth did give to Ryan when Ryan was leaving.
Right.
Seth was just basically bye because he was mad.
Yeah.
So I think Ryan, again, the savior complex in Ryan feels responsible. He wants to help Sandy, so he does end up going to Portland.
Yep. He gets there right as Sandy, because Sandy goes to Portland to try and bring him back.
At first. We have a very uncomfortable dinner with Sandy, Luke's dad, and Luke.
They basically get up and leave while Sandy and...
I don't think they got up and left, though. They stayed at the table.
Well, they eventually leave.
Yeah, they left later.
They definitely heard more. Yeah. They were there for a while.
I would have been awkward.
I got to use the bathroom. That's what I would have said. I'm like, I got to go.
I thought you were telling me you had to go to the bathroom now. I'm like,
no, what? I'm good right now.
Okay. So I do like I wish we could, because I feel like this is the last time we see Luke, and I think it was good that we did get to see Luke's doing well in Portland. He's doing well with the ladies again, a fresh start. He and his dad are getting along well. So I think that was an excuse to kind of give that, because the last we saw Luke, he was leaving with his dad, but he was still in that very depressed place. So it was nice to see that. But I want more of the dynamic, especially when Ryan shows up and the three of them are hanging out as friends, because like Luke and Seth are like the two, if you start season 1, that you would have never thought would have been hanging out together.
Exactly, yeah. So
I really like that dynamic. When Ryan shows up, obviously Seth's entire mood is different because that's his friend. And then we have what goes down with Teresa, her mom, and their little concoction that they did.
Well, they basically, Teresa calls Ryan and is like, hey, I went to the doctor's appointment and they didn't find the heartbeat, so the baby's the big dead.
Oh my gosh. Sorry for the insensitivity.
But what we find out later is
portraying here.
Teresa told Ryan that, I think because she didn't feel that Ryan was truly invested. She felt like she was holding him hostage. Yeah. And she kind of was to a certain extent.
She felt like he was still in love with Marissa. He still wanted to be with the Coens.
I think like she did it. She did that coming from a place of like caring for Ryan. But it was not the right way to go. Yeah, but we have to remember that she is a child.
Yeah, she's a teenager
being coerced to do a thing. What it seems like by her mother, and also
wasn't her mom like, you're doing the right thing?
Yeah, and that to me, I got the vibe of mom had already been talking to her about this. So it's not what if Ryan knew the baby was still alive. This is not what he would choose.
Absolutely not. It's not my favorite way to end that storyline so we can get Ryan back to the Coens as quick as possible.
No.
Because I don't think it's very fair to Ryan. I don't remember if they exactly ever come right out and say it, but I'm pretty sure at one point, like, we're convinced, like, that was Ryan's baby, not Eddie's. So
does he never find out that baby actually
I don't
is
think
born?
So. I can't, again, I don't want to say 100% sure yes or no, but I do not think so.
So we as a viewership find out about it because we already know. But
I think he might find out the baby was born, but she says it was Eddie's. I can't really remember. Someone who knows the OC 100% the way I know NSYNC 100% is going to come for me on this. But I don't think if he knows it exists, I still don't think he knows that it's his. But I think we as viewers are I feel like fans still talk about it's very much of a wink.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was the best way to end that, but I get it. They're like, oh, we're starting season 2. We got to get the gang back together. So obviously when Teresa tells him that, Ryan's like, hey, do you want to, like, he and Seth have this like goodbye, but then they end up like both, like, I thought like they both come chasing back to the door. And so they end up going back home. Kirsten, great, beautiful family moment with the Coens where Kirsten she's not even mad. She's not going to yell. She's just happy to see her boys back.
Yeah. I want to go back to that moment where Ryan and Seth both come to the door at the same time, because you had an epiphany during that moment while you were watching the show when you realized for the first time, and we talked about this last episode, but she had this realization at that moment because you noticed the way they did the music, the way they did the shots and the cinematography and everything coming together. What normally would have been a scene between a couple was a scene between Seth and Ryan.
Two great friends.
They're actually the really important ship of this show.
Absolutely. They are the ship, at least in these beginning seasons.
They are the Spock and Kirk.
They are. They had that beautiful moment because Ryan ultimately did change Seth's life, and Seth.
They are the
Ryan's
Roy
life.
and Jamie.
Yes. And it was beautiful.
They're the Dr. House and Wilson.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to name as many as I can.
Joey and Chandler.
Joey and Chandler. Yeah.
It was good. I really liked it. And then we find out at the end, because you and I couldn't remember, because you're like, you had even brought it up. You were like, well, how did Seth sail to Portland? And then find out,
Ryan asked him.
Where did he make it? Like, I don't even know where he said, like Santa Barbara or something.
He didn't even get out of California.
And then he sold the boat, got money, took a Greyhound bus, and that's how he ended up in Portland. He's like, but we won't tell people that because that's not a cool story. Yep. So we don't even see them meet up with the girls until the next episode. Right. But that end scene just brought back some of that lightheartedness, and it was just nice seeing Kirsten not mad.
she was just grateful to have her boys back. Because Ryan, even though she, at first in season 1 in the beginning, she wasn't sure about bringing in another kid, and now she loves him. That's her son too.
Yep.
So I thought it was a good way to kick off season 2.
Yep, I'm excited.
So-
I know. I feel like season 1 is the season I have the most memory of.
Yeah. I don't think you ever watched season 3, because when I had you go back and watch the stuff, I was like, we're going to skip season 3 and go straight into the season 4 finale.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So you're in for a real treat.
And I don't remember much about season 2, or at least nothing has really come back to me right now. So I'm excited to see where it goes and how much plot they can stuff into every episode of this season. So, all right. Well, that is going to do it for the show today. We got some shows coming up here in October, though, that we're kind of excited for.
Yeah.
At least a few that are really excited for.
We're unfortunately losing Ahsoka and Only Murders, but we're finally getting Loki season 2.
I'm really excited.
Premieres
for that.
this Thursday, October 5th.
Loki
excited.
It has been my favorite MCU TV show so far.
Yes.
And it's actually maybe the best thing they've done since Endgame.
I agree. I would have originally said, and I need to see how Ahsoka finishes the season, I would have said not only has it been my favorite MCU show, I'd be like, it's my favorite show on Disney Plus, period, but Ahsoka has done so well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna see how this
that.
finale plays out, but so excited for Loki. And then also next Thursday, October 12th, we are getting Frasier back.
I'm excited for that, but I'm also a
excited and
little
scared.
nervous. Yeah, I'm a little nervous because it's messing around with some beloved characters, and it's always nerve-wracking when that happens.
I do think the teaser was promising, though. It
felt right. Yeah.
like Frasier at that point in his life. I'm going to need Lilith to show up, though.
Oh, absolutely.
If Lilith doesn't show up, I still secretly want them to end up together. And if they stay to that Cheers episode, they do. So we'll see. I think it's going to be, I do think the first episode might be sad, though, of Frasier.
Oh, for sure.
Because I think they're going to have to acknowledge.
Martin. Yeah. That's going to hit you.
So I know, too, I have been watching the morning show. I haven't finished the most recent episode, so probably what I'm going to do for that, since that's one Daniel pops in and out of, is just after I've watched a batch of episodes, I'll talk about it, because I know we've had a lot going on, a lot of shows, we watched a movie, and again, I want to reiterate that we've got it queued up. We just chose to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Friday, and then yesterday, at the time of this recording, so it was football Saturday, WV1, woohoo, let's go Mountaineers. Had to get that in there. 4-1, baby, 4-1. But we do plan to watch, is it called Only?
What We Do in Shadows.
I was thinking Only Shadows. What We Do in Shadows. And apparently, according to Hulu, I have watched the first episode.
Well, I know I've watched the first episode. Maybe that was just me.
Because you were like, we watched this together, and I'm like, we did? So I do promise that we're going to add that, especially as it is now October. And let us know, you guys, on Instagram, some of your favorite Halloween shows, Halloween movies, because this month is all about Halloween.
Spooky, scary movies. We're going to do an episode later this month.
Spooky, scary.
To talk about a few things. So if you've got thoughts, let us know them.
We also sent out our first batch of stickers this week. If you want a sticker, DM us.
Yep.
And we'll send you one for
We'll
free.
send you one for free. Or 2 or 3.
Or 4.
I don't know about that. All right. Hey, have a good week.
Thanks for listening to this episode of We Watch TV, a podcast about the TV shows we watch. You can find more from Hope and Daniel on Instagram at We Watch TV Podcast. Drop us a line if you like the show, have a question, or a recommendation. You can find Hope on Twitter at Lil Runner and Daniel on Twitter at The Real Hobo Dan. Music for today's podcast was provided by Your Tunes from Pixabay. Artwork was created using the AI program Midjourney with prompts written by Daniel.